Okay, no, because I was not ready for this one. Stephanie Jenkins just managed to make her housing situation even worse. Instead of grabbing every lifeline being thrown her way, she's sitting in that motel, five kids crammed into one room while making excuse after excuse. And honestly, it's starting to look less like a struggling mom and more like professional excuse maker. And the internet is not having it. Stephanie and her kids are living in a one-room motel. Viewers are stepping up, offering her affordable housing deals, including a trailer home. Allegedly, she turned down a 500 down, 600 rent, no credit check trailer home. Stephanie responded in a Facebook post saying she and Drew never declined any legit offer. But she added an excuse, claiming she wouldn't feel safe living somewhere that everyone knows. This sparked backlash because she constantly reveals her location online anyway. Here's the problem we're unpacking. Stephanie keeps spinning excuses while her children remain homeless. Let's roll it all the way back because context here is everything. The backlash really exploded when, under a Facebook thread, someone claimed their aunt had stepped forward with a deal, tangible solution for Stephanie, a trailer home in La Grande, and not just any deal. This was about as low barrier as it gets. We're talking a 500 down payment, 600 monthly rent, no credit checks, no landlord background digging, nothing. Just a straight shot at stability.
Okay, so I know Stephanie just posted this on her page a couple days ago, but there are some things that I really need to get off my chest and I really need to talk about. So I'm going to read this very quickly and then let's talk about it. Okay, so the post reads, just because people make a post saying something, don't make it true. Drew and I have not declined any housing opportunity. This is the first I'm seeing anything about any legit offer. But also, why should we be comfortable taking an offer for a place that now everyone has information about? That gives us a zero chance of creating privacy for our new place. Very quick context. Apparently somebody was in Stephanie's comments stating that her mom offered Stephanie a house or an apartment or something, and Stephanie immediately turned it down and said no thank you. So this was the post that she made talking about that comment.
The aunt allegedly made the offer out of kindness, saying she simply wanted to help for the sake of the kids, who are the ones paying the price right now. When you put that next to the reality of five children living in one cramped motel room, the contrast is staggering. This wasn't just a laugh, it was basically a golden ticket compared to where they are now. But here's where things take a turn. Stephanie didn't accept this with relief or even cautious optimism. Instead, she went straight to Facebook and wrote a response that left people stand. She posted, just because people make a post saying something, don't make it true. Joe and I have not declined any opportunity. This is the first time I am seeing anything about any legit offer. But also, why should we be comfortable taking an offer from a place that now everyone has information about? That gives a zero chance of creating privacy for our new home. And that's not me saying we're turning down anything, just bringing up a solid point.
Stephanie, you've got to make this one make sense for me. I mean, I am at a loss for words here. You put on your post the other day that you didn't turn down housing opportunities, but if you did, it would be for safety reasons because everyone would know where you were at. However, you go over to the Book of Faces and you dox your own children. You tell the entire internet where your children are 5 days a week, 7 to 8 hours a day. But you're afraid to take a house from an individual because the owner of the house may know where you're at. Make that make sense. Also, please explain to me why you would show up at your children's school wearing a lanyard that advertises gardening, whether it's legal in your state or not. All schools are rug and alcohol free zones. You're not allowed to wear clothing. You're not allowed to advertise it in any way. Anything that has to do with tobacco, rugs, alcohol, any of that. Profanity is not allowed at school, Stephanie. The embarrassment your children must have. I mean, I'm so confused at this point. I don't know if this is some kind of plot for you to claim and safety issues so that you can pull these children out and homeschool them. But there is a bigger, we all know that there's a bigger picture here, a bigger plan that you have cooked up, conjured up, whatever you want to call it. The thing is, though, that you're not allowed to pull Deshaun out. So how is that going to work? Because you're still going to have to take him to school and get up and make sure he has lunch and everything else. I'm just curious as to your thought process, Stephanie.
Now, if you really sit with this, the first half is a denial. She's saying they haven't turned down anything. But the second half, the second she slips in that word, but, the whole tone shifts. It's no longer a denial, it's a pivot into excuse territory. And this wasn't some vague rumor floating around either. This was all surfacing after a video upload that laid out what people were offering and showed Stephanie's reaction to it. The receipts were right there, plain as day. And then comes the comment that really set the internet on fire. Someone under the same thread wrote, "My aunt offered her a home in La Grande, $500 payment and $600 rent. No credit checks, no landlord checks. She just wanted to help these kids. Stephanie told her, no thank you." That line was the match to the power keg. Because not only does it directly contradict Stephanie's public denial, it also exposes that she may have rejected an offer that bypassed the very obstacle she always pointed to: her eviction history and poor credit score. For years, that was the explanation for why she couldn't secure housing. Yet, here was a deal that took that excuse completely off the table. And according to this commenter, she still said no. Let's break this down. Stephanie came onto Facebook and said flat out that she and Drew hadn't declined any opportunities. On the surface, that sounds like a denial. But then comes the pivot. The second she adds that phrase, but also, everything changes. It's like she's trying to slam the door shut with one hand while cracking it open with the other. That one little but is basically a confession slip in disguise, because if there was truly nothing to the allegation, why explain? And why add an extra paragraph about privacy if you didn't already have the rejection in mind? Watching her twist her words in real time feels almost predictable at this point. It's denied at first, but then also followed with a quick detour into excuse territory. Then there is her whole argument about not wanting a house because everyone already knows about it. She frames it as a safety issue, as if privacy would suddenly be compromised if she moved into the trailer. Girl, when have you not exposed your location? Let's be serious. She has filmed every single motel room, shown off her surroundings, even panned her camera to give full tours of her temporary shelter. She once broadcast every detail that people could literally locate her toddler atlas on Google Maps. Privacy has never been her priority. It's always been content.
Girl, I know you lying. Your child is on Google Maps of all places and you're worried about privacy. Okay, let's get into this. Stephanie says just because people make a post saying something doesn't make it true. We all know that, Stephanie. We all know that. Because you said that Bella didn't have a bald spot. Drew said that she got something stuck in her hair and cut it out. Also, you said the dog bed was rage bait and Drew said, oh, nope. The truth is that Stephanie didn't realize how dangerous it was, and once she did, we put it in the trunk to send it back and we bought a packing plate. Okay, but I digress. Let's move on. This is the first I'm seeing anything about a legit officer. But also, why would we be comfortable taking an offer for a place that now everyone has information about? Stephanie, I am 2,500 miles away from you, and I can seriously put your address in my map thing and drive right to your front door. You've put yourself out there so many times. You've done it to yourself. Not only that, Stephanie, it's not the fact that you put yourself out there, it's the fact that you are a content creator. People are going to know where you're at, what you're doing, how you're doing it, and who you're doing it with.
And here's the kicker. This isn't an isolated moment. This is a repeated storyline. She once claimed her mom refused to help her until her mom came forward with proof that she had offered housing. She insisted nobody tried to adopt the kids she abandoned, yet people like Sophie McAllister came forward with receipts showing they reached out, and Stephanie still said no. She tried to gaslight people into believing the infamous dog bed situation was just rage bait until Drew himself admitted she did buy it. And when people spotted that bald spot on her daughter Bella, Stephanie denied it ever existed, only for Drew to confirm that yes, Bella had yanked her own hair out when her band got stuck. It's a cycle at this point. Deny, 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 until the evidence piles up and then she spins it into a sympathy plea. Here's where the audience completely snapped. Stephanie's excuse about privacy wasn't just flimsy. It felt insulting to the intelligence of anyone following this saga. Because, let's be real, the public has always known where she lived. This isn't new. When she abandoned those cats, Shailene literally tracked them down by going to her old apartment. Every single motel stay since then, documented by Stephanie herself with videos, walkthroughs, even little tours of the surrounding areas.
SecondChanceApartments.com is the one attempt Stephanie made to find housing before they went to the shelter. Now, some people say that she got a voucher through a church, like a women's shelter, which would make sense why the room is so small, because she would have gotten it for herself and for her kid. Because even at a motel, hotel, shelter, there's occupancy limits on rooms. There's an occupancy of my home that I can have. If they are paying customers at the shelter, why aren't they in a room that's big enough for their whole family? It was maybe like a week and a half before they were to be evicted, and she vlogged every single day. You know, she was very much join me on my journey. And because you made somebody mad, somebody did a Freedom of Information Act. This is available on Reddit, and it's the eviction documents. They were evicted over non-payment of $2,086. You know, Mr. Drew that Stephanie was bragging, he gets up at 5 in the morning and he's budgeting it. He stopped paying rent. So they broke contract in their rental agreement by not paying, and then they stayed in there for 3 extra months until they were forced to go. Stephanie is not going to do things that inconvenience her personally. And it's not more evident than the decision-making of the cats. Everybody keeps skipping over this, but she slipped into a video and said, and I don't care if my mom said she'd take the cats. So you abandoned the cats. You did not explore every option, because that option of calling your mom and reconnecting and bringing her back in your life just to find a roof to go over the head of the cats, she couldn't even do that.
And it doesn't stop there. Her current shelter motel has already been plastered across her page. Privacy never existed in her world because she gave it away herself for content. So why suddenly pull the privacy card now? Especially when that so-called concern means her 5 children remain jammed into a one-room motel, day after day, night after night. For viewers, this was the breaking point. They saw through it instantly, and the comments rolled in like a tidal wave. She doesn't want a house, she wants attention. I'd risk privacy for stability any day. This isn't about privacy, it's about excuses. And the tone of those reactions says it all. People weren't just skeptical, they were angry. They felt manipulated because every single time there is a genuine shot at getting out of this cycle, Stephanie comes up with another obstacle, another excuse, another way to delay. It's like watching a pattern repeat itself on a loop, and viewers are starting to lose patience. So let's really talk motives here, because this is where it gets complicated. Why does Stephanie keep rejecting lifelines that most people in her position would jump at without hesitation? Let's unpack the possibilities layer by layer. There is a growing speculation that Stephanie might be holding out for government housing vouchers, the kind that cover rent entirely. Think about it. Time and time again, she has leaned towards shelters, short-term programs, and free assistance instead of paid solutions. It's almost as if she's positioning herself to survive just long enough until the big free pass comes through. And if that's true, the mindset becomes clear. Why commit to a $600 rent when you might just get a place with zero out-of-pocket costs later? That sounds practical on the surface, but when you factor in her 5 children stuck in one room, it reads less like strategy and more like neglect dressed up as patience. Another theory is that Stephanie has realized instability is her brand. The motel storyline isn't just her reality, it's her content hook. Homeless Mom of 5 draws sympathy, donations, engagement, and viral attention. It's tragic, but also clickable. If she suddenly settled into stable housing, would the audience engagement plummet? Would people stop doom scrolling through her updates if the chaos was gone? The ugly truth might be yes. And so, staying in that cramped motel, even at the expense of her kids' well-being, might feel safer for her channel and her pockets than risking irrelevance. And then there is Drew. He still isn't working, and Stephanie has repeatedly defended him with claims that Jobs would take 10 years off his life because of mysterious medical issues. That reasoning might sound dramatic, but it conveniently allows him to remain unemployed. As long as Stephanie can frame the situation as being trapped, neither of them has to face the accountability of building income, paying steady rent, and repairing credit. The motel becomes a shield from reality. No landlord, no bills, no long term responsibility. Just the cycle of excuses keeping them in suspended ammunition. So, the big picture? This isn't about what's best for the children at all. Each theory circles back to one truth. It's about what's easiest, what's most profitable, or what's most convenient for Stephanie. And that's the part that stings, because the kids don't get to choose, yet they are the ones paying for every single one of these decisions, rejecting every possible lifeline. The public's reaction has been scathing. Many now openly call Stephanie an internet grifter. Others wonder if CPS should step in, given that the children are being kept in unstable conditions by choice. Some are convinced that she's dragging the storyline until a housing voucher arrives. Meanwhile, Stephanie herself keeps leaning on denial and excuse posts. And let's not forget, this is a family of 7. Stephanie, Drew, and 5 children, all confined in one motel room. Privacy should be the least of her concerns, but it's now her shield against accountability. This matters because it highlights how dysfunction is being rewarded online. The longer she keeps the struggling mom arc alive, the more attention and more money it generates. Meanwhile, the kids remain collateral damage. Here's the hard truth. Stephanie Jenkins isn't prioritizing her children's stability. She's prioritizing her excuses and possibly her content. Every denial, every deflection, every sudden concern about privacy only proves she's more invested in keeping the narrative alive than getting her kids into a real home. So, my verdict? If she wanted housing, she'd have it by now. The motel is her choice, and that choice says everything. But what do you think? Is Stephanie truly stuck, or is she exploiting her kids' homelessness for clout? Drop your thoughts below and don't forget to like and subscribe because this saga, it's only getting worse.